Alright folks, sorry about that. We are back. We had a bit of issue. It seems like our game has managed to crash for all of our drivers. So we will try this again. And I will be right back. Hello Vapor Lazy, how are you, buddy? Thanks for joining us here on part 2 of our stream. Unfortunately, unable to get the race started, so we'll have to try again. Hopefully we'll have a little bit better luck here. As it looks like we're just going to go right into the race itself. We do have qualifying turned off, so it looks like we are just going to get right into the race with a custom grid, which should be the same as what we just saw in qualifying. Troll, thanks for joining the stream. Hope you're enjoying. Sorry for the stream cutting out, as I feel like when the game crashed, my stream did as well. So we're here on part 2 now. So Vapor Lazy, what is your excuse for not racing tonight? Apparently, that's been answered for you, Vapor Lazy, by way of Trulson, saying simply, you're lazy. It certainly makes a lot of sense to me. Guess it's all in the name. At work. So not a matter of laziness, instead a matter of the 9 to 5. Alright folks, so we'll get this started one more time. Should be getting right into the grid here. Hopefully no more bugs and we can get this race underway. Excuses, excuses indeed. Alright folks, this is the one. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't think the game's gonna boot us from this, but if it does, I'll be here bringing it to you live. So just a bit more in case you folks decide on the rewatch to not watch qualifying, something to keep an eye on. We've got Greeny at the top of the table with 85 points. Big Baguette at the top of the table with 85 points, who has yet to win a race here, Season 8, finishing instead, not starting race 1, but then in the following races finishing in 2nd, 5th, then 2nd, then 5th, then 3rd, and then 5th. So, Big Baguette, the picture of consistency. Meanwhile, Greeny, 2nd in the table with 79 points, has won 3 races. But besides the 75 points he's earned from those 3 races, has only earned 4 points in the other 4 races this season. So very interesting paths for our top 2 drivers, but both of them have earned 1st and 2nd place in our table currently here in Season 8. As Lazy says in the chat that he's here supporting his teammate, let's get Fiscal, who has, surprisingly decided to put himself in 5th place in qualifying, which was the qualifying position he earned from before. However, with hosting privileges, I fully expected him to put himself at pole. So good sportsmanship there for Fiscal. Congratulations to him. And we'll see what he can get done. And we'll see, a little different, maybe, strategies. Our top 9 drivers will be on softs. Chensky will be on those hards, taking advantage of the restart to maybe go on a harder composite tire. Gourlay will be on the softs. Wordcloud on the mediums. Josh Smith is also on softs. Meanwhile, 13, 14, and 15 are on hards. Definitely something maybe to take a look at with Vichensky deciding to change out those tire composites, despite earning a top 10 spot in qualifying. Definitely maybe a misclick, I'm not really sure, but certainly should have, as far as my understanding should be on soft tires as well. Vichensky, as I was saying earlier, was the driver of the day on this circuit last year, so he'll look to have a repeat of that, finishing in 7th last year. To earn that driver of the day spot, he's going to have to do a little better than that this year. Volkman, meanwhile, finished 4th on the circuit last year, and currently with only 10 points in the table could certainly use another top 5 finish at the Baku City Circuit. As we see our drivers come into the grid for the 2nd time, hopefully we'll get things started here a little bit more effortlessly, I should say, than attempt number 1. We'll have to wait and see as our last few drivers take their spots on the grid. 16 drivers here, as I mentioned earlier, so definitely not a full grid, which I feel like I've kind of been spoiled by. As we see this race get underway, red lights here at Baku City Circuit coming on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the lights go off, and we are underway at the Baku City Circuit. Let's see how these drivers do around this first corner. Bit of contact. It seems like it's going to be okay. I didn't see any damage there, as it looks like all of our drivers are indeed through the first couple of corners without so much as a scratch. Let's see how they fare on this 3rd 90-degree turn. It looks like we're going to still get through this okay, and it looks like all of our drivers have their wings, have their tires through these first 3 turns, so that's excellent news for everybody. Elian has fallen out of 4th place. Let's Get Fiscal has taken that position from Elian early on here. So nice work from Let's Get Fiscal. As we see, very tight train, as there's no carnage through the first few corners, so keeping things very tight. And I will say the one positive thing from this restart is we had no issues with the table wanting to reset itself, so that's certainly promising. All of our drivers are very, very close to each other. The furthest gap is between Elian and Justice at just over a second. Besides that, it's very, very tight up and down this entire grid. As we see Greeny coming into Sector 3, still in first place. Big Baguette still in second. Vapor Cobalt still in third. Let's Get Fiscal has moved up to fourth as he looks to chase down Vapor Cobalt. Red Sniper, what's happened here? Let's see if we can figure out. Looks like he's gone in the wall. Let's see if he can get on out of here and get back on the track, as he will. Not entirely sure what happened, but that's bad luck for him. And we see a fight here with Word Cloud and Clark. We'll have to see if Clark can make a move on Word Cloud and get to work there on cracking the top 10. As we see Let's Get Fiscal now in, let's see, so now in first. Does look like we have a safety car perhaps. I believe we've got more issues with the table here, as it seems to have sorted itself out. Yes, we do indeed have a safety car that will be joining us here with Red Sniper unfortunately DNFing after his crash into the wall. We will have a safety car already as we head into lap 3. So not a lot of distance created in this grid, but we will see it tighten up even more so as the safety car will go around for a lap or two, hopefully not the full 3, as we got enough of that last week in Monaco. Let's just take a look and see if we have any penalties yet. Let's see, Word Cloud did pick up a 5-second penalty for a collision with Brent Stelton. That might have been the collision that sent Red Sniper into the wall, perhaps trying to avoid the carnage in front. So bad luck for Red Sniper, who DNF'd last year on the same track and will once again DNF here. We see Big Baguette does have a warning. Vapor Cobalt with a warning. Elian is clean so far. Justice is clean. Gourlay with a warning. Let's see. Chensky has a warning. Trulson has a warning. Word Cloud has that 5-second penalty. And Red Sniper, of course, DNF'd, so nothing there on him. So we did see a couple of drivers opt to go ahead and make a stop in the pits. That would have been Let's Get Fiscal and Greeny, as Let's Get Fiscal manages to slide out in front of Greeny after the pit stop. So Let's Get Fiscal will enjoy that quite a bit, I would imagine. Meanwhile, Big Baguette, Vapor Cobalt, Elian, Justice, and Gourlay all opt to stay out on the track with those soft tires. And we do have pits from Let's Get Fiscal, Greeny, Trulson, Volkman, Josh Smithness, Worried Cloud, and Reflection all opting to head into the pits under the safety car. So they will take advantage of the safety car to put on some fresh tires, repair any dings and dents they may have, and then head back out onto the track. And Big Baguette will, for now, stay in first place on those soft tires, opting to not pit. We'll have to see if maybe he ends up regretting that. Certainly we'll try as soon as we get a restart to put as much distance as he can between himself and the rest of this grid. As we'll see the safety car for at least one more lap, as Reflection aims to rejoin this pack. Looks like he'll have no trouble doing so. Yes, indeed, it is interesting that we have 5 folks on those softs who opted to not pit. We'll have to see how that pays off. It's definitely an interesting strategy. I'm not sure if maybe Let's Get Fiscal and Greeny expected the rest of our drivers to pit there and maybe still come out in the top 5. But unfortunately, they will have to now start mid-grid with when this restart occurs. So, Lazy, who are you looking towards possibly earning the win here on the Baku City Circuit, or even perhaps your driver of the day pick? What are you expecting to see here today? As we are in lap 4 under the safety car. Safety car did come out into lap 2. So not very far into this race when Red Sniper Eye found himself into a wall, DNFing on this particular race. Looks like our safety car will be lifting here, and we'll see Big Baguette try to get the fastest restart that he can. And we'll see what kind of start he can get. The picks from Lazy are Cobalt and Big Baguette are the drivers to watch. I certainly wouldn't disagree with that. Of course, with the pit selection, he is also discussing that he thinks Fiscal and Greeny will be the drivers to watch. Fiscal already shoot up into 7th as we see him also pass Brent Stelton on those fresh tires. Ooh, very close here. No contact, manages to make that pass on the outside. Excellent work from Let's Get Fiscal. Meanwhile, Greeny, I'm not sure what happened to him on the restart, but definitely not what he wanted to see. I'm not sure if maybe he found a bit of contact and slid all the way back to the back of the grid. So that certainly doesn't bode well for the pick from Lazy Twig for Greeny. But Let's Get Fiscal certainly with a great restart, moving up several positions. And we'll have to see if he can continue to make moves now, get past Brent Stelton on these hards, and then start chasing down those drivers on the soft composite tires. We'll have to see what Fiscal can get done here. As we see now, Clark maybe deal with a bit of issue as he allows 2 drivers to slip by. Let's hop back up with Let's Get Fiscal, right on the back of Brent Stelton. And the Greeny curse might be in order with either that first place finish or few, if any, points. As we see Fiscal attempt to pass Brett Stelton here. In fact, he will get that pass done. Excellent work from Let's Get Fiscal, who is now up into 5th, and on relatively fresh tires, those mediums. So good work from him. Meanwhile, Greeny has done a lot of work to really narrow this gap and pass by these pitting drivers of Nicholas Volkman, Word Cloud, and El Clark, all in the pits. Let's meanwhile go take a look at Brett Stelton, who looks to chase down Let's Get Fiscal, who just moments ago passed him to move up into 5th place. Let's take a peek down at Vichensky, our driver of the day from last year, as he is about a second behind Josh Smith in this. We'll have to see if he can get a move or two done here on Josh Smith in this. See, Greeny did pick up a penalty. We'll have to check and see what that penalty was for. Certainly not the kind of start to this race I think that Greeny would have wanted after earning such a solid position in qualifying. Meanwhile, since Vichensky's lost just a little bit of time, we'll hop up to Fiscal, who's chasing down Justice on those soft tires, has narrowed the gap to under half a second now as they come up on this home straight. We'll have to see if Let's Get Fiscal can get a move done, and it looks like he'll easily get that move done, riding the slipstream of Justice. Excellent work from Let's Get Fiscal, as Justice looks to maybe make a move back on the outside of Let's Get Fiscal around turn number 1. And in fact, he will manage to get that move done on Let's Get Fiscal, earning that position back on those softer tires. Excellent work there from Justice, as it is now Fiscal's turn to ride the slipstream of Justice. As we see Reflection head into the pits. And Reflection will also retire from the session. Definitely not what you want to see. As he'll retire in the pits. Definitely nothing good for Reflection there, as that is very bad luck. I believe that is his second DNF in as many races. In fact, he did DNF last week as well. So definitely not what Reflection wanted, and we're now down to 14, just 14 drivers on this grid. As Let's Get Fiscal looks to chase down Justice. Currently our narrowest margin at just under half a second difference between these two drivers. As they come up for the 7th time to this home straight, we'll see if Let's Get Fiscal can once again get a move done on Justice, as he'll push to the outside, not quite able to get it done, maybe biding his time a little closer to the corner so Justice can't ride him as we saw previously, as we see these two drivers go side by side. Very, very close here. Looks like Fiscal will indeed have earned that position from Justice. We'll have to see if Justice can return the favor again in this back straight. As we see Justice, very, very nice pace. Oh, it looks like these two drivers are going to have contact as Fiscal is into the wall. That's a lot of damage for Fiscal. I would imagine that's got to be at the very least a bit of wing damage. And we do see indeed that right wing end plate is missing with the contact from Justice. Bit aggressive, I would say. As we're getting fun facts now in our comments that Trulson in Season 1 managed to DNF into the walls of the pit lane. That's tough to do, but Trulson found a way. Meanwhile, that collision between Justice and Fiscal has allowed for a bit of a train here, as we see Let's Get Fiscal right on the back of Trulson, who is right on top of Brent Stelton. I have a feeling we may unfortunately have to see Fiscal pit to repair that wing damage. definitely not what you want to see. Let's Get Physical is probably furious from that collision as we see Justice head into the pits from that collision. We see Elian in the pits. Fiscal is going to head into the pits too to get that wing repaired. So we have a new top three with Big Baguette still in first, Brent Stelton in second, and Trulson in third. Meanwhile, Greeny has moved up all the way to ninth with those pits. So certainly just, you know, as long as Greeny can stay out of danger, I certainly don't think he's out of this race quite yet. As we'll see, Let's Get Fiscal throw on those hard tires as he heads out of the pits. We'll have to see if he can get out in front of Nicholas Volkmann. Just narrowly does indeed succeed in that. And it looks like Let's Get Fiscal might try to use these hard tires all the way as we once again see Fiscal in another fight almost immediately, this time with Nicholas Volkmann. Fiscal will have to do his best to not, you know, again, immediately earn some wing damage. Certainly going to do his best here. Meanwhile, up at the top, we see Trulson looking to chase down Brent Stelton, just about a second behind. Big Baguette looking like maybe it was the right decision not to pit early. He'll still have to pit eventually, but will probably be able to come back out in around that 8th to 9th position when he does inevitably pit on those soft tires, depending on how much more distance he can put between himself and Brent Stelton. As we see, Big Baguette does indeed head into those pits. We'll have to see, keep an eye on where he comes out. We see Trulson get the pass done on Brent Stelton around that first corner. Excellent work from Trulson using that DRS to get around Brent Stelton, hopefully hanging on to that position. Meanwhile, Josh Smithness passes by Big Baguette. Big Baguette comes out instead P4, so a very nice pit stop from him, very quick. Now on those fresh hards. So Big Baguette's in a really good spot. It looks like that gamble to not pit under the safety car has really paid off dividends for Big Baguette. Yeah, I would agree with Lazy that that collision between Justice and Fiscal definitely seemed like Justice maybe braking just a little bit late, forcing Fiscal into that outside wall around the corner. Certainly frustrating for Let's Get Fiscal as he finds himself back in P11. Meanwhile, we have another DNF. That's L. Clark this time. Down to just 13 drivers now on this circuit as Big Baguette looks to continue his run of yet to finish outside of the top 5 in Season 8. Let's see, we'll hop on with Greeny, who's moved all the way up to P6 now. We'll look now to get a move done on Vichensky. Should be, I would imagine, easy enough on the fresher tires that are also softer composite. We'll have to see if he can get that done. Through this home straight, DRS is enabled for Greeny, and we'll see if he can close the gap between him and Vichensky, as he might try to make a move on the inside, maybe waiting until our next DRS zone back on this back straight. Meanwhile, these two drivers are making moves to close the gap between themselves and Josh Smithness up in P4. Let's see if Greeny can get past Vichensky. It's going to be very close as Greeny, we also see late on the brakes there. Vichensky has to really slam on the brakes to not meet the same fate as Let's Get Fiscal, and he will concede that position to Greeny, and Vapor Cobalt will also slip by Vichensky on that corner. Let's see if Let's Get Fiscal can get this move done on Nicholas Volkmann. He's kind of been toying with him a little bit, playing really good defense ahead of Let's Get Fiscal, refusing to allow Let's Get Fiscal a chance at a top 10 position here as we come up on our halfway point in the race. Let's take a look at Elian, who's right on the back of Vicensky. Vicensky, meanwhile, was in 5th just mere moments ago, now fighting for his life to keep 7th place away from Elian, who looks like he intends to make a move here on these upcoming straights. Let's hop on board with Elian, see if he can close this gap at all, as we see Greeny overtake Josh Smith in this now, and he'll get to work on chasing down Big Baguette on those 5-lap old mediums. No move here from Elian. I'm not sure he'll be able to close this gap enough to make a move in this back straight, but we'll be here for it if he does. Let's see if he looks to make a move on the inside of Vicensky. It looks like he is going to try to get it done. Let's see as these two drivers go really right next to each other. And it looks like Elian's going to be able for now to hold on to that position. So excellent work from Elian, moving past Vicensky. And it looks like he's going to secure that position for now, at least. Let's see, it's still our closest gap, as we've seen Nicholas Volkmann put a little bit more distance between himself and Let's Get Fiscal. Let's Get Fiscal looks like he has lost his right wing end plate once again. So definitely not the kind of lap that Let's Get Fiscal wants. Definitely disappointing so far for him here at the Baku City Circuit. Let's take a look at Greeny, who is closing the gap, slowly but surely on Big Baguette, looking to maybe have a shot at the podium as we are into our 13th lap, which is our halfway point in this race of 26 laps. Greeny continuing to show really good pace as we see Vapor Cobalt and Josh Smith is fighting it out. Yeah, I would agree with Lazy that we'll see some interesting faces on the podium. Certainly taking advantage of the smaller grid to earn some big points here in Azerbaijan. Although this race is far from over, I think we see Greeny, Vapor Cobalt, and Big Baguette certainly still with a shot at visiting the podium. Meanwhile, it looks like Trulson is certainly all over this. Will maybe aim to take those mediums to the end of the race. It would certainly be difficult, though. But we certainly have seen crazier things happen. Let's take a look up at Greeny, who has now put this gap down under a second between himself and Big Baguette. Hopefully we'll see Greeny, take a relatively cautious approach. He does have the penalty in hand. Definitely don't want to see anything that could possibly put Big Baguette out of this race as we see them go side by side here. Bit of contact, maybe just a bit of bumping. And through that home straight, we will not see Greeny execute that move on Big Baguette. He will have the second DRS section, though, to maybe narrow this gap even more so on Big Baguette. As Brett Stelton, losing lots of positions as he visits the pits, comes back out in 10th now, down from 2nd. See Greeny just right on Big Baguette here. through turns 8 and 9. Bit of a corner cut there from Greeny. Probably will earn himself a warning, I would imagine. Although, will be well worth it if it allows him to close the gap, as we see him lose just a little bit there. That'll cost him a few tenths of a second, I would imagine. Let's flip over to Justice, who looks to chase down Vicensky. And keep an eye on that Greeny and Big Baguette competition. As they head into Sector 3, as does Justice. And Vicensky will hop back up to green to see what he can get done on these straights. Through the home straight, looks like he's not going to be able to quite get the move done on this first section. However, we've seen lots and lots of passes coming into corner 2 and 3. And it does look like Greeny will indeed get the move done on Big Baguette. Interestingly, he gets it done before Big Baguette can earn the DRS, just riding the slipstream there, and that's back straight. These two drivers very, very good, excellent pace from them both. We do see Justice go ahead and make that move on Vicensky in the table. Let's get Fiscal, meanwhile, in a bit of a back and forth with Brett Stelton. And let's get Fiscal really no choice but to allow Brett Stelton back into that position. As we see Nicholas Volkman in the pits. Let's take a quick look and see what our position changes have been. We see Trulson's moves up 8 positions, Josh Smithness 11. Meanwhile, Let's Get Fiscal has dropped 5 positions. Nicholas Volkman has dropped 6 positions, so definitely not what they wanted. Fiscal, of course, with that wing damage that he's having to deal with. So definitely not ideal for Let's Get Fiscal. Meanwhile, we see Elian right neck and neck with Josh Smithness. Will get that pass done. So Elian will now move up into 5th place on those 6-lap hard tires. As Josh Smithness on the 12-lap old mediums will look to chase Elian down. Greeny now doing his best to close the gap between himself and Trulson and take first position down. Still a lot of work to do, about 4 seconds back, but very quickly that gap is dwindling between himself and Trulson. And the same gap widening between Greeny and Big Baguette. As Greeny showing excellent pace to work his way back. Not too long ago was at the very bottom of the grid. Has worked his way all the way from 15th back up to 1st. So excellent driving from Greeny. Big Baguette in very good position though on those hard tires. Haven't quite come into the prime of their life, and certainly will take him to the end of the race. So maybe not feeling too much pressure yet is Big Baguette. However, we see that distance between himself and Greeny grow wider and wider. Not a lot of close distances in this race. We see a very spread out grid, mostly between 2 and 3 seconds, but we do see Vapor Cobalt maybe looking to close the gap between himself and Big Baguette and say, you know, don't count me out yet, I want a shot at that podium. Also on relatively fresh hards. that should take him to the end of the race. Josh Smith is still about a second behind Elian after conceding his spot in fifth about a lap ago. Let's take another look up at Vapor Cobalt, who now has that gap down under a second between third and fourth. Let's see if he can chase down Big Baguette here. Down now just under 0.3 of a second as we come up on this home straight. Certainly could see an attempt at a pass here from Vapor Cobalt. Still have the DRS to certainly get by Big Baguette without any problem. In fact, Big Baguette will head into the pits. I'm not entirely sure what that's about. I guess maybe had some damage. Not entirely sure why Big Baguette opts to go into the pits. Although I'm sure we'll see him go back on soft tires to finish out this race. Maybe hoping for a safety car to give himself a shot. Meanwhile, Greeny's done a really nice job chasing down Trulson. Excellent pace shown from Greeny, now only a second back of Trulson as we come up through here into turns 5 and 6 into turn 7. A bit of contact as Greeny manages to meet the wall. No damage though. Certainly our tightest window up and down the grid. Justice perhaps maybe making the move to pass Josh Smith this year sooner rather than later. Might have to take a check on that here. But for now, we'll keep it on Trulson and Greeny through this home straight. Looks like Greeny will have a very good shot to slip by Trulson, and he will without too much of an issue. We might be seeing Trulson heading into the pits. Indeed we do. So Greeny will look to see what kind of distance he can build between himself and the next drivers in this race with that penalty in hand. Currently a 5-second interval between Greeny and Vapor Cobalt in the second position. We'll have to see where Trulson comes out of the pits. Maybe right around Brent Stelton, I would imagine. No, in fact, ahead of Vichensky. So good work for Trulson on that pit. Still be out in the top 6. Yeah, I would say Cobalt with those 9-lap-old hards is certainly in a solid position. Although we've seen Greeny take some chances with worn tires. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he takes those medium tires to the end of the race. We've certainly seen crazy things from Greeny before. I think that's a jinx there, Lazy. We kind of had the same thought there. Meanwhile, let's hop on with Brent Stelton, who looks to chase down Vichensky. Vichensky kind of just holding his own right now in the middle of this pack on those 18-lap hold hards. Has certainly will almost have to visit the pits here, I would imagine, sooner rather than later, as he has yet to pit since the safety car, I believe, was the last time Vichensky visited the pits. Ooh, we see Vichensky maybe starting to lose it just a little bit. Definitely on those worn tires. Although he's going to keep it out for at least one more lap, and we will see Brent Stelton make the pass on Pachensky with Josh Smithness visiting the pits. See these drivers side by side with Big Baguette coming to join the train. Big Baguette will look to see if he can maybe get a double pass done here. At the very least, looks like he'll have no trouble getting by Pachensky. Very dangerous here coming up into turn 3. Hopefully we will avoid contact. Yes, we will. And Big Baguette will now look to make a move on Brent Stelton after having just passed Pachensky. And he will get that move done on turns 5 and 6. Excellent work from Big Baguette navigating through those two drivers. Really, really excellent work from him. And we are, I would say, into the home stretch with only 6 laps remaining. Let's get Fiscal with the wing damage. Just looking to get any points that he can. Certainly not looking like he's going to really make a go at a podium in this race. Pachensky's on those 19-lap old hards now. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it on the track. I would imagine we'll see a pit stop from Pachensky here. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, indeed. We will see Pachensky head into those pits to get those fresher tires. And he will avoid speeding in the pit lane, so excellent work from him. As Pachensky does finally head into the pits. And we'll probably put on the soft tires to finish out this race. And Pachensky will come out perhaps ahead of Nicholas Volkmann, I would imagine. He's almost 40 seconds back. Meanwhile, Greeny unable to really put a lot of distance between himself and Vapor Cobalt. That margin still remains about around 5.5 to 6 seconds, which is kind of where it's been for the last few laps. Greeny's tires will certainly start to be feeling the effect, being 15-lap-old mediums. And remember, this is a relatively long circuit, so 16 laps here might not feel the same as 16 laps in Monaco. Certainly hoping for the best for Greeny and his tires. Gourlay now also DNFs. Bad luck for Gourlay. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. As we see yellow flags. Is this a safety car? Or just a virtual safety car? Virtual safety car. I guess Gourlay retiring will trigger that virtual safety car. And Greeny will pit under the virtual safety car. So Vapor Cobalt will take over in P1 as we see Greeny come out in P6 just behind Big Baguette on those soft tires. So hopefully Greeny can keep up the tremendous pace that he's shown the last few laps and make the best of it. As Let's Get Fiscal in a bit of a battle here with Worried Cloud. Again, remember, he does have that wing damage, so unable to corner maybe. Ooh, as he heads right into the wall. I'm sure that's, if anything, maybe more damage to that already injured wing. Really looking like he's struggling on these corners is Let's Get Fiscal. Still in the points as of right now, but Pachensky is closing on soft, fresh tires with his wings intact. Intact, I should say. So hopefully Let's Get Fiscal can keep it on the track. As you see Trulson look to get by Justice here. It looks like he's gonna be okay getting around on the inside of Justice. As we see Greeny also pass Big Baguette. And Greeny will get to work on that 7-second interval between himself and Justice. Definitely going to be an interesting podium here, I would say, coming into these last few laps. As we see a three-man train here, this is actually good news for Greeny, I would imagine, as this might slow everyone down just enough that Greeny can make up that interval. And it's, of course, excellent news for Vapor Cobalt, who looks like he is going to have no trouble securing the podium here, and possibly the trophy in Baku. As we see Greeny just methodically plugging away at that interval. Definitely interesting here, as we'll see Greeny joining this train, I would imagine, in the next couple of laps. With all of the drivers, 2, 3, 4, and 5, fighting for a podium spot. And as Lazy's noting in the chat, this also could allow Big Baguette to possibly have a shot at a podium too. As we see Trulson and Elian side by side, Elian holds off Trulson for now. We'll see if he can do it on this back straight as well. Gonna have to be some really solid driving from Elian to keep fending off Trulson, which is only allowing Greeny to get closer and closer to this pack of 3 drivers. As Greeny now only 3 seconds back. Meanwhile, Elian showing impressive pace on those hard tires, despite Trulson on the softs, unable to get the moves done on those straights. As we head into the next few turns of lap 24. As Greeny now only 1 second behind this train of drivers. I don't know if he is a lap short there, Lazy. I think that he has a legitimate shot with the pace that he's shown to still be able to earn a podium. I think Big Baguette maybe is the one that might need just that extra lap to be able to get into this fight for a podium. But I really think that Greeny's got a good shot at a possible podium here. As you see this excellent pace around these last few corners before the home straight. And he will have DRS enabled here. And I think that this should be enough to get past Justice and maybe even close the gap on Trulson, showing really good pace, managing to avoid contact with Justice. And Greeny's still very much alive for a podium spot here. And he'll pass Trulson here as they go side by side. It's going to be very interesting. Oh, a lot of contact between these two. A lot of bumping. Oh, and we see Trulson into the wall as Greeny gets by relatively unscathed. Bad luck for Trulson. We'll have to see if he's got any wing damage. Seems to be okay, but Greeny is now into P3 and fighting for P2. So I guess that answers whether or not he has a shot at the podium, as he will effortlessly, it seems, pass these drivers and earn P2 away from Elian and try to get as much separation from those drivers as he can. Meanwhile, we have seen Justice in this join this train, as has Big Baguette after the contact with Trulson. And it's going to be close. We'll just have to see if Elian can hold on to that third spot and a trip to the podium, which Ilian desperately needs. Currently only 15 points so far in Season 8, so a podium could definitely help boost him up into that middle range of the table. Trulson, meanwhile, also only 26 points, so podium would certainly mean quite a bit to him as well. And we see Justice make the move on Trulson. Excellent racing from Justice into P4 with Big Baguette going side by side. Ooh, lots of contact there. Oh my goodness, into the wall. Oh geez, that's just really messy racing. And we see Big Baguette has lost an end plate as Trulson looks to then get back by Big Baguette, as we see Big Baguette once again into the wall. These two drivers with lots of contact, going wheels right at each other, contact after contact. Really excellent little fight here for P5. Oh my goodness. These drivers have bumped each other just almost constantly through these last few corners. Still pretty much racing side by side as Trulson maybe... Ooh, we see more wing damage from Big Baguette there. Looks like he's lost his entire right wing. He's got to be really frustrated, I would imagine. We'll have to see if he can hold on with... looks like he's still just lost the end plate, so maybe still a chance for Big Baguette. Let's check on Trulson's damage. Couldn't quite see it there. Trulson looks like he still has both wings intact, so should be able to pull away maybe a little bit from Big Baguette, as Justice now is the one who will be tasked with chasing down Ilian as we are in the final lap here. And we see lots of gas issues. Vapor Cobalt looks like he'll finish first, no problem. Greeny will earn second quite easily. And Ilian will, it looks like, earn a spot on the podium just ahead of Justice, only half a second difference there. Meanwhile, Trulson will finish in 5th, Big Baguette in 6th. Brent Stelton looks like he'll earn 7th, so a good result for Brent Stelton. Josh Smithness looks like he'll finish in 8th. Vachensky looks like he'll finish in 9th. And Worried Cloud will be our last points earner here at the Baku City Circuit. Baku, I should say. Apologies for that, for those fine listeners living in Baku. So certainly interesting, I would say, as Let's Get Fiscal misses out on a chance to earn points here in Baku. Not, I would say, ideal, but, you know, this race sure was fun to watch. We saw Vapor Cobalt get the win. Greeny earn points in P2. That's his first podium that hasn't, you know, been a win. So he'll enjoy those second place points. Meanwhile, Ilian will visit the podium for the first time this season. Justice, after winning the race on Sunday here for F2, will finish in 4th. So excellent racing from all of our drivers. And a lot of fun, and I have a feeling, yes, indeed, driver of the day will be Josh Smithness. I would say, honestly, I would give my driver of the day nod to Greeny, who at one point, very early on in this race, found himself all the way at the back of the grid, at which point he got to work, ladies and gentlemen, showing excellent pace, working his way all the way up to P2. Thank you for the compliment, Lazy, on the great comms. It is my pleasure. And you did indeed predict the Cobalt win. He was in great position and managed to make it work with Greeny having to pit on those quite old tires. Vapor Cobalt does earn the win with excellent work from him. So yeah, I would say my driver of the day would have to go to Greeny. Although, like I said, this was such a blast to watch. Quite a bit did indeed happen here in Baku. Well, this is your announcer, Ben Silver, signing off, saying see you on Sunday in Canada. Should be lots of fun. We'll see you folks then, and until then, see ya.